Hi, and welcome to the Boat Princess podcast. My name is Nicky Vaux, and I'm your host. I am a boat owner, a marina owner, a director on the Marina Industries Association, and a huge advocate for boating. In this series, I'm sharing the stories from every nook of the boating industry with the intention of encouraging more women to join me and for more women to get behind the helm too. I want to share the experience and opportunities of boating, of the boating industry, and I want you to join me as I bring the conversations and answer all the questions you've had. Boating is not just for the glamorous and rich and famous. It's full of beautiful and interesting people making the most of our natural environment and getting out there, enjoying the waterways. So let's let off the lines, take over the helm, and escape to the world of boating. So this episode is a little bit of a different one. It's a very impromptu moment. My husband Darren and I were catching up with our good friend Jason Ludlow in the UK, literally having a drink in the pub. And he had just returned from Sail GP in San Francisco and started talking about it. And I happened to have my microphone in my handbag, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to pull that out and record this because this is really good stuff. So I did. And so there's a little bit of, pub music in the background and clinking of glasses and so on and so forth. But, sometimes it's kind of cool to do something spontaneous like that in podcasting. So I hope you really enjoy it. It was funny. I was in the UK and I got this lovely WhatsApp message from Jason with a photo of him with my good friend Nick Douglas from Australia in San Francisco, saying, surprise, we both met. We didn't realize that we both know you, which was really lovely. It's lovely how my friends connect up like that. That is the boating industry. We all link up at some point, so which is quite lovely. So I really hope you enjoy this interview. It was a really spontaneous moment and I really enjoyed it. Jace did too. So it should be a good one for you to enjoy. Yeah. So how did you get into Sail GP?
Like always, through a friend. I think like most good jobs you're recommended for. A friend of mine, Simon Nudin, worked for Sail GP originally as a rescue diver for the Danish team. And then he moved into the comms side, radio comms, not PR comms. And they needed a driver for what they call their guest chaser program. That's the VIPs, partners, sponsors are taken out on the water in a high-speed rib to get close to the action and watch the racing. COVID meant that a lot of people couldn't travel in the organisation, so Sail GP had to become quite lean. Their driver was based in Canada, and so they wanted to recruit someone to do the European stuff. So I was approached and started in Toronto as a guest chaser 1 driver. And we have like 4 guest chaser boats. And Guest Chaser 1's great because it's the only boat apart from any of the team's boats and media boats that are allowed on the racecourse. So we literally line up on the start line, windward of the start, and as the F50s fly down to the first speed mark, we chase them along in a rib and then bear away, and then we kind of follow up and down inside the boundary, and the guests get the most amazing sort of experience on the water.
Given they're sometimes doing 40 knots, you've got to go pretty hard.
Well, Ben's done 54.3 knots now. So we can't keep up.
Yeah.
There's no way we can keep up. The boats, I think what we learned quite quickly is you've got to position yourself right to kind of let them come to you, because you can't chase them.
And then be able to get out of the way.
That's kind of what my job mainly is getting out of the way and making sure that the boats that I have working with me get out of the way. So I now, although I started as a driver, I now manage the guest chaser fleet. Oh, wow. So we have all these other drivers from around the world, and I have to coordinate them. And like I say, normally it's 3 or 4. San Francisco for the finals that we've just done, where I was with Nick Douglas.
Nick Douglas, yep.
Sailor
I can't
girl.
believe that link-up happened.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Amazing. She's cool. Very
she's
cool.
very cool.
Yeah, she was great to work with. We normally run 3 or 4 guest chasers. We ran 11. So it's a race course is still the same size. It's really busy, and we were putting 11 boats on the race course. So it's good. We did a lot, but this time we trained, we choreographed, worked out how we move around the course, where we're going to be in different positions, and we always have a driver, which we normally source locally. So sometimes good, sometimes
not so good.
Not so good. It's interesting because there's loads of good boat drivers out there, and I was like this when I first started. I've done America's Cup, did it in Bermuda, so I'm used to foiling boats and then all sorts of other boats. SailGP is completely different. I mean, they are the old America's Cup boats, but they've been turboed, and there's 8 of them on a tiny race course. There's not 2. Yeah. So it's like nothing else anyone's ever done. So we have to train them up quite quickly. But what we do have is a professional sailor on board with them, the host. So that's what Nick Douglas did.
Yeah.
So the driver's responsible for the physical positioning of the boat, making sure the guests are safe and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then the host is there to guide them because they kind of know where they're going to tack and jibe on the boundary, and talk to the guests about what they see.
Wow.
So you have like your own commentator on the boat.
Yeah.
5 or 6 guests, so it's super personal. It's really cool.
That's really cool. And I saw Nick running around when she picked up some guests off our super yacht in Sydney. I said our super yacht, we were on the super yacht. It wasn't our super yacht, but she ran around the boat, tying her up, fenders out, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
She was incredible, so quick.
No, it's really good, and to be honest, all of them have got, I mean, I had Dylan Fletcher, so he's Olympic gold medalist and former driver of the GBR, the SailGP Great Britain boat. Dee Kafari, she was with me, so she's sailed around the world 7 times. Most of that on her own, the wrong way. Who else sails with us? Simon Shaw, match racing world champion. Corky Rhodes. We had Jordan from the Gold Coast, who has a sailing podcast, Bar Karate.
Yeah.
So he was one of our hosts as well.
Oh, cool.
Saskia Clark. All these like top level sailors who don't just know what they're doing, but they carry some sort of kudos.
Yeah.
There's a really good atmosphere around the SailGP, isn't there? I don't know. There's something unique about it. It's different to America's Cup. It's got a really There's a strong sailing community. In fact, across all of the sailors in the teams and things like that, they obviously know each other. They're professional sailors and things like that. So it's a certain atmosphere.
It's definitely a different atmosphere. I think because it's regular is really important. So we've just had a bit of a break between Sydney and San Fran, but normally it's like once a month there's an event. So it gets a tempo going and everyone's coming back together. I mean, you look at the sailors, you've got Ben Ainsey, Jimmy Spillwell, Nathan Outeridge, Slingsby, done it again. Yeah.
God love him.
Yeah, the right boat did win, for sure. These are the world's best sailors, and they're coming together again, whereas normally they only meet occasionally at different events. And I think the way that the SailGP team, their media team, are pushing out great content all the time. We have crashes, which is great. Ben getting pretty good at the crashes, but no one's been hurt, which is really good. But that's you're racing around in boats at 50 knots on a 1 kilometre race course.
Yeah, it's going to happen, isn't it?
It's going to happen for sure. Yeah.
I just think the extraordinary. You watch these things coming towards each other, and playing chicken in some respects across the course. It's just extraordinary.
Yeah.
And they're so skilled.
Yeah.
And that they each know that they've got another team on the other side that are equally skilled, so they can have faith in their ability. But it still sometimes goes pear-shaped.
Yeah. No. Yes, it's a bit like F1, isn't it? The drivers know the other drivers and what they can get away with.
Yeah.
But then
you bring
in Sydney, they have to, sorry about taking out your hull. Here's my hull.
Here's my hull. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that was
you wouldn't see that in many other sports.
No,
would
No,
That's
you
you?
wouldn't, would you? That was a really, that was a
Yeah.
true sportsmanship moment, right
Yeah,
there.
but Ben hands up, just didn't see.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's his fault, and fair play.
Yeah.
Let it carry on, and did the right thing. But as new drivers come in, there was a collision on Sunday with a Spanish boat. There's a relatively young new driver, and he had a collision which was his fault. So I think that they start to build a reputation, and which is quite cool, isn't it? Because then the other guys might go, well, actually, I know I've got rights on them, but I'm not going to take a risk, because when you're doing 50 knots or 40 knots, combined speed of 80 knots, you've got the who's right and who's wrong, but then you've got the thing of I want to be racing tomorrow and later, and the umpires are pretty good at penalising. So what's interesting, the umpires aren't there; they're all remote. So
Is that right? Where are they then?
depends. Ian's normally in Australia.
Yeah.
Craig could be in London.
As in Murray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was at San Fran, but so we have a race management team there, but the race manager is remote.
Right.
Yeah, all the umpires. There's no more whizzing around on boats anymore with umpire boats. They're all remote from London. Broadcast teams all in London, in Ealing.
And
Loads
they're
of
just
stuff.
relying on the video content to give them what they need to actually make the decisions.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is awesome, because the
loads of-
video is amazing.
Yeah. The videos, and they'll work hard on that. 3 camera boats, helicopter, various other. Obviously, all the onboard stuff was all done by GoPro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the commentators, say what they see. Obviously, you've got live telemetry which comes off. You can get that on an app as well. Insights, LGP Insights. But it's funny when I'm briefing my guys, I say we're making a TV show that features sailing.
Fair enough.
And I think that's kind of the balance, because
Yeah.
most other sailing events, it's all about the sailing and the racing, and you have cameras there.
Yeah.
We have a fine balance where we have a broadcast slot. The final on Sunday was difficult because the wind shut out, and we had a whale come on the course, so we had a postponement.
Oh, wow.
So we had to extend our broadcast slot. The helicopter didn't have enough fuel to do that long extended period, so we didn't have the helicopter for the start of the last race. The winds San Francisco always blows from the west at 18 knots, apart from on finals day.
Yeah, of course.
What did it do?
The law of sort, it kind of blew from the south, so offshore, all patchy as it comes over the land, and it was 1 minute it was 5 knots, the next minute it was 20 knots.
Wow.
So it was really tricky. And I'm glad that it wasn't decided by a fluke, that ultimately the best team, the deserving team for the season, did win $1 million.
Yeah.
And they won the regatta as well, San Fran. So that's another few 100,000, I think. So good weekend,
Yeah,
good
Aussies.
payday for the Aussies. Yeah.
Not a bad day's work.
Yeah. And what was lovely is the whole
It's a year's work, but
the
not a
whole
bad day's
team.
work.
The whole team came afterwards to the prize giving.
Oh,
All the shore
nice.
crew, everyone,
brilliant.
and the
Yeah.
Aussies just left the boat there, and I actually took the French skipper out and his crew. They sailed it back for him.
Yeah. Because there's a lot more than just with people on the boat, isn't there?
I think it's a huge
Hundreds. Yeah.
huge
So each team has its own shore crew, which do kind of the fine tweaking, and obviously the support on that.
Yeah.
Then Sail GP centrally do the big maintenance, so they get the boats ready, the wings ready, and stuff like that. So, and that's the game works well, rather than having your team, your support team having to be hundreds of people. It's probably 25, 30.
So in that regard, it's kind of like Grand Prix, the Grand Prix, isn't it? It's a massive team effort as opposed to just the guy driving.
I think the only difference is it's like Grand Prix, except at the end of the day, you all give your cars back to the FIA.
Yeah.
Whereas they're responsible for all their design and everything of their thing. With Sail GP, the boats are Sail GP's owned, designed, maintained, and then they give them out to the teams.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a combination
That
of
full one class racing. So
Yeah.
it's the best team wins, not
best
the best
team
boat.
wins.
No.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, was what
Yeah.
awesome, and that's why it's so valued, isn't it, by
Yeah.
the sailors?
Yeah.
Because they can really actually, genuinely, very much different to America's Cup, because
Fastest boat always wins the America's Cup.
yeah,
Like they always say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah.
but in this they're all the same. So the best crew wins.
Best crew, absolutely, it's down to the sailors. Our fastest, most consistent across different wind ranges. You win SailGP, you are the best in the world. It's a lot of fun, and we go to some cool places. We go to Chicago, got Bermuda coming up, then Chicago, Plymouth.
Chicago's awesome. That course up on the lake and stuff like that from that city is just an amazing
It's going to be brilliant.
location. It's a great city.
Yeah. No salt in your eyes for the sailors. Lovely.
Exactly. Nice fresh water.
And
It's heavier water. The boats go slower.
Boats go slower, yeah. It's funny we're talking about the wind in San Francisco. Wind in San Francisco is really heavy because it's really cold and dense.
Yeah, it is thick.
20
air.
knots in San Fran compared to 20 knots in Bermuda is different altogether.
Different density there. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's again something they have to work on, isn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of understanding that.
Yeah.
Given the technology is so fine
Yeah.
and everything's so finely tuned, you actually do have to adjust for those individual locations, which I think is a really interesting.
And that's
part.
what the teams do. They tweak for, and that's what the teams do. How do we get the best out of this boat? How do we think we can make this boat work? And what is really interesting about SailGP is all the data's shared.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Aussies go out and have a great day, then the Brits can look at the data from the Aussies.
Okay.
Everything.
Yeah.
What wing angle did they have? What rudder angles? What foil angles? How much camber were they putting in the wing? So that is all open for them all to try and help learn.
Wow.
And what that really helps is new teams coming in.
Yeah.
So like we've got Switzerland, excuse me, and Canada coming in for season 3.
Yeah.
They've got access to, 2 seasons worth of data.
Yeah.
You'd never get that in F1.
No.
So it's kind of designed to keep the class moving forward faster.
Yeah. And is it a huge social event too? Is
No.
it parties? No.
We have one party after when it's finished.
Yeah.
Apart from that, everyone's too busy.
Yeah.
It's full on to work at.
Yeah.
The guests have a party for sure,
Yeah.
but then that's all kind of daytime, early evening stuff because we are all boring. We're tucked up in bed and getting ready for the next day until the Sunday night, and then we had a bit of fun this year. We had a Red Bull sponsored party in
Oh, nice.
San Fran. It was good.
Nice. Well done.
Everyone kind of lets their hair down and
Yeah.
decompresses.
But you need after that because it's so intense.
Yeah, and I've got loads of friends that I work with SailGP. Didn't see him.
Yeah.
Only at the party at the end. We've all been there like 8 days,
Yes.
and you're all just stuck in your own little world.
Got to do your job.
Doing your job.
That's the intensity of what it's for.
Yeah.
And it's professional. It is genuine professional sport. And as you said, I think one of the awesome things it's a TV show ultimately that reflects sailing, and that's what takes it. But it's so good for the industry more broadly because it's exciting. It's these sort of
It's short,
flagship events.
sharp, isn't it? You
Yeah.
turn it on, you can watch it and go, "Wow, that's exciting." I think they've done a really good series of behind the scenes programs. It's On the Edge, I think it's called.
Oh, cool. Like Grand Prix.
Like Grand Prix one, yeah. And that
Drive to Survive. That's cool.
exactly, yeah. So this is On the Edge, and each one is about a 30-minute show, and it just you get to see behind the scenes, and it's really good. And they're all on YouTube. So you're kind of getting to know the characters.
Yes.
Which I think is really important. F1 nailed it, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely. I wasn't into F1 until I watched Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this now.
So many people like that. I get it, I understand it.
Yeah.
Because actually with F1, the racing, sometimes,
It can be sleepy. Yeah.
but you can always guarantee the build-up programs and that are all exciting and all so well produced. And
Well, I think the F1 in particular, the middle of the field is often the most interesting And now that through that sort of program,
Yeah.
you know all the personalities and the individuals and the teams and the team bosses and,
Yeah.
and all that sort of drama that's happening behind the scenes. And I'm sure, in terms of how it's presented and otherwise, but you actually got to understand it more fully. And I think that added an enrichment.
Oh,
Well,
it makes
awesome.
a massive difference. Massive difference.
Very exciting.
I mean, I've always, Formula One's got that something fairy dust, hasn't it?
Yeah.
There's something about it
Yeah.
that keeps you wanting to watch, keeps me and loads of people wanting to watch it.
Yeah.
Even if the race is dull. But that's the characters, and I think, and the fact that you know that it's the best of the best technology,
That's it.
best drivers,
20 seats. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's razzmatazz, isn't it? And, definitely SailGP looks at the F1 model, and a lot of what we want to do is that sort of quick hit thing. America's Cup's much slower, isn't it? It's a big build up.
Plus more elitist, I think. SailGP is more.
Yeah, I mean,
exciting
SailGP,
for,
people can pay, $30 or something, go out on a spectator boat and go around the bay, or go to the beach and watch it.
Yeah.
And
It's on the shoreline for free.
San Francisco on the beach there, just thousands of people just watching it, because we
Yeah.
always try and race stadium style, so it's you can see it from the shore. I mean, Sydney looked great. Shark Island would have been a great place to watch it,
Oh, it was great.
right in the middle of the course.
Yeah.
Nikki enjoyed it from her super yacht.
I really enjoyed it for myself. Thank you to
That
that
did-
lovely, lovely friend.
Yeah, it did look good. Yeah, I caught up with Ross actually. I was out with him a couple of times. So.
He's a good
Top
guy.
bloke, yeah.
Lovely
yeah.
guy.
Top bloke. Good team. Everyone. It's funny. Everyone in the team is good. There's that, and also the good thing is they're going great guns now. I think that they've got over the hump now of chasing sponsors. I think there's, they've proved themselves, and there's good momentum. So I think they're gonna get some big, some more high-profile names involved, and keep it going.
Yeah, it's very cool. Love SailGP. Awesome.
Sydney again next year.
Yay.
Look forward to that.
You coming out for that?
Well, it's not announced yet, so
Not announced
it's
yet.
not announced.
Oh,
I don't know if the deal's signed or not.
Oh, really? Well, we'll hopefully hear it here first.
Yeah.
We have everything crossed.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Sydney would be mad, absolutely mad,
Not
not
to
to have
accept
the SailGP.
Totally.
Exactly right.
yeah. No. I mean, that is one of the iconic venues, so definitely it's got to be there.
I think we're the prettiest.
And we're going to New Zealand, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of on the way.
Whereabouts in New Zealand?
There's a 4-year deal being done, and it rotates between Christchurch and Auckland.
Oh, nice.
So that'd be cool.
Oh, that'd be exciting to go and see too.
Yeah, I think there's 2 more announcements, or venue announcements.
Are the
that-
Kiwis good at sailing?
Not in SailGP. I think maybe they
Yes.
got their eyes on another prize.
All black fight back.
yeah. But obviously, AC announced yesterday Barcelona. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Next America's Cup, Barcelona.
Oh, wow.
Kiwis
nice.
have given it up.
That's
That
really
sucks.
sad.
That is really-
actually really sad.
Yeah.
They're great for Barcelona, but really sad for the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that work to get it, all that money to get it, and defend it,
Yeah.
and I mean, New Zealand's just rugby and sailing, isn't it?
Yes.
That's culture.
Yeah.
Oh, the per capita number of people that have boats in New Zealand is huge.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's one of the highest in the world.
yeah.
And
so,
it-
New Zealand and the Scandinavians.
Really?
Yep,
Yeah.
they're the 2 highest
Wow.
boats per capita in the world.
yeah.
And I think, coming out of COVID, New Zealand's been probably the strictest lockdown of any nation
Yes.
in the world.
Yes.
What better way to build up to a big 2024 event? But you get a ramp up, a 2-year ramp up.
Bring
Right.
everyone back in.
Get
Absolutely.
everyone back
To
in.
an extraordinary country. Absolutely.
And I read that Barcelona paid $70 million. You can't tell me that New Zealand couldn't raise $70 million
Well,
Not in the context of something of this scale.
at that scale. Yeah. I think there's. Do you listen to Sailing Illustrated? Tom Elman.
No, but I will now.
It's on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's Facebook. They do it out of San Francisco. Tuesday nights, Friday nights, and it's like an hour and a half. They're in a studio. It's not a TV. It's not. Just watch it. It's kind of a broadcast, but kind of a podcast type thing. And he's an ex America's Cup sailor, awesome, great America's Cup sailor, and you always hear all the gossip and stuff like that. And he's had a lot of the Kiwis being interviewed on there, and they were saying that there's a whole group if the cup doesn't go to New Zealand, they're going to sue New Zealand Yacht Club or Team New Zealand.
Really?
And these are big Kiwi guys who've got the money and the clout to sue, because I think they actually put up money to help keep the cup back there.
Wow.
So I think there's going to be a bit of a shit fight.
Yeah.
With that.
Such a shame.
Yeah. Terrible shame. Because it's not just the race and the people associated with the race, but all the super yachts that come to that now. It's
Yeah.
massive.
Yeah.
And the revenue
but
from
the
those
industry
is
that flows
huge.
off it as well, and the way, for the people that actually work in that industry in New Zealand, it's an important
And
part.
the infrastructure's there.
It is. It's already there.
The bases are there. Everything. It's almost like, right, America's Cup, turn it on. Ka-chink.
Yeah, it's terribly sad.
Bonkers. I mean, it's good for us Europeans because we can go to it.
Yeah.
But
Maybe the Kiwis are bored with winning it all the time, and they want somebody else to have it, so
yeah,
they can go and win it back again.
Go.
That actually sounds quite
Probably
a Kiwi thing to do. Actually,
yeah. Right, we're done with that. We need to redo
Why don't you
it.
have a go?
Yeah.
You have a go,
Yeah,
and then we'll come over and get it back from you.
yeah. I'm gonna fight you for it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. There you go. So next SailGP event is
Bermuda.
then when's that?
Middle of May.
Middle of May. Cool.
Yeah, and that's pretty special. That looks great on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, some topaz waters and good breeze. Yeah. Then Bermuda to Chicago. In Europe. Plymouth. So we did Plymouth last year, and everyone laughs. The weather was amazing last year.
Oh yeah, it can turn it on.
We had one of our English heat waves just for that period.
So you had the English summer right then.
We had the English summer.
Well, I'm sorry,
That
it's
whole
not going
2
to be then
weeks.
because it was last week.
Yeah, no, yeah. Oh, I missed it. Yeah.
You're in San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco.
We were here.
When we were in Plymouth, and someone renamed it Plym Trapé. We were like, this is like Saint Tropez.
It is pretty pretty down there.
It was great. We had this great waterfront venue.
Yeah.
The old baths, and then the course is in front of you. And it was 80 degrees every day, shorts and t-shirt. There was just enough breeze to make it work. It was great fun.
Nice.
And you could get a decent beer.
Yes. Get a decent beer or a gin and Fever Tree tonic.
Exactly.
I love that I walk into every pub here and you can get a Fever Tree tonic. I'm pretty happy about that.
I'll show you where they live tomorrow. You go knock on their door.
So I hope you enjoyed that episode of the podcast. It was so much fun. Talking of fun, I have an amazing event coming up on Saturday the 7th of May, which is on a 90-foot yacht throughout Sydney Harbour. We're going for a lovely harbour cruise with yummy eats and yummy drinks. We'll have Savannah from Savannah Estate doing a wine tasting on board, and she is there herself, which is very exciting to have her there. And we'll be discussing women, boats, and having a wonderful time networking. There are some amazing women on board. I'm so looking forward to catching up with them all. But we do have, because we changed dates, we do have a few tickets available because some of the ladies that were booked on the previous date are unable to come on the new date. So to book those tickets, simply go to my website, theboatprincess.com, scroll down to events, and you'll see the event there. I can't wait to have you all on board and have a really lovely time with you. I'm looking forward to it. That's Saturday, 7th of May at Sydney. Take care, and I'll see you on the water soon. Well, it's been lovely to have you listen out there, folks. I really appreciate your ears. And if you'd like to get in contact, just follow me on Instagram at The Boat Princess, and perhaps leave me a comment on today's picture of our podcast so that we can get an idea of what you thought about it. That'd be lovely. Take care, and we'll see you on the water soon.